Hi, I'm Alexandra, the founder of Tagwalk. So just to remind you, Tagwalk is a fashion search engine that references every single show from Paris, London, Milan and New York, every single accessory, every single designer, every single brand, and every single model by keyword. Right now, we analyze about 200 million data points to understand what is used in the shows, what isn't used, and how is it really interpreted. What I really want you to pay attention to is that 64% of designers included linen for the first time this season, including very big major brands such as Fendi, Dior and Louis Vuitton. But also 49% of every single show included at least one linen piece, and 24% of those were major brands, which is a big change within the industry. What's interesting is that linen has a 63% return on investment in the fashion shows, which means that you don't have that many pieces, but the pieces that do have linen have a very big increase in terms of clicks and being seen. I think what we really need to talk about is Fendi. Fendi never used linen beforehand. They're trying to be way more sustainable, but the way they use linen is that they interpreted it in so many different ways. There's tailoring, there's dresses, there's colors, there's short coats, and I think Fendi's a good example of linen that can be used not only in a very minimal way, but also really work the material to make it fit the DNA of a brand. So it's no secret that Jacquemus, who's kind of the Parisian baby booming star, has been using linen every single season. In fall winter 20, 50% of his collection was linen. And for spring summer 21, 45% of his collection was linen. And it was made out of dresses, crop tops, oversized tailoring. So again, a lot of variety. However, the colors were a little bit more simple, but it's really mostly because this season, every single designer went back to basics. 14% of Stella McCartney's looks were based with linen. 13% of Dior's looks for Spring/Summer 21 were in linen. And 13% of Michael Kors looks were made of linen. Of course, as number one, there's minimal. Then you have bold colors. It's finally used as a material that can have color, that can have different hues, and that can really correspond to a different DNA for every single brand. And linen is really associated with chunky knits. So suddenly, this big wool jumper, or this big wool coat is associated with linen. Then second of all, it's with lace. And then Dior, for example, mixed every single linen dress with leather, with little leather gillettes. So I think what's interesting there is that you don't have to be a full linen look or make it very minimal. You can work it with leather, with lace, with knits, with fitted knits, and it just really marries super well together. Is that linen has a variety of ways of working with it. So masculine being number one, then tailoring, so very like jackets, and sometimes they're very cropped jackets and very fitted jackets, so they're not oversized jackets. Then you have the crop pants. So really, I think this season we've seen more and more different ways of interpreting every single style, but making it very appropriate to who you are. But for menswear, linen was really treated in 4 different ways. One, it was oversized. So oversized pants, something a bit more minimal, a bit more utilitarian. Then you had, of course, the nomadic vibe. So nomadic vibe being very kind of Ibiza chic, very relaxed, very chilled. Then we went for the pastels, so the beige and the very kind of simple colors like this jacket were actually dyed in purple and pale pink, pale yellow. And that also started with Virgil Abloh at Louis Vuitton about 2 seasons ago, who did a lot of pale colors for menswear. And of course, black. So black is always a big winner for menswear. When brands want to be sustainable, they use as number one wool, then they use denim, then they use leather. But what's interesting is that linen, even being a bit more spring-summer than fall-winter, usually as a material, is number 4 overall when brands want to be sustainable and be better towards the planet. 27% of the sustainable brands use linen as a sustainable action towards their collections and within their collection. Linen represented for Spring/Summer 20 1.14% of all of the collection. For Spring/Summer 21, linen represented 2.87% of all of the collections. This is a very, very big jump, almost by 50% of linen from one season to the other. And for Spring/Summer 22, what we're really thinking is that linen will go up to 3.60% of all the collections. For Spring/Summer 20, menswear had 0.59% of their looks that were linen. And then for Spring/Summer 21, 0.79% collection was linen. And for Spring/Summer 22, we think it's just going to go up super gradually in a very small number, which is 0.98. So of course, that's because there are less shows than women's wear, but also because you have less looks. And then it's a material that maybe is considered very minimal for menswear, whereas in women's wear, you have way more interpretations. It's not just a simple jacket and pants. So that's how it's going for forecasting right now. And what this means is that they didn't just add a piece of linen to add a piece of linen to be sustainable. They really started using the material. There are brands that really, really use linen in such different styles. They really work into the designs, they really push their boundaries and adapt the linen towards their own DNA and their own heritage. And last point, linen is a very genderless material. It's a material that could be used for women's wear, for men's wear, for children, for homeware, and you can really play with it. So there's a plus 102% on the shows compared to last season. There's a plus 49% of designers that included linen within their collections. But also bold colors was used by 9.5% of the designers. 28.9% of the collection was really tailored, so a lot of tailoring jackets. 6.6% of the collection was workwear, and 14.2% of the collection is crop pants. So, did you know that linen was 100% thermoregulated? I didn't know that, so it basically means that in winter it keeps you warm, and in summer it keeps you super refreshed. And what's important is that I think more and more brands and luxury brands should hear this message, because I didn't know it. And I think it's a way of really working and being more sustainable, not only because you have no irrigation when you actually produce linen, but also you have no waste when you produce linen. But on top of that, if you have a piece that thermoregulates you in winter and in summer, you can use it all year long and you'll never be a problem.